The laughter started before his name was even called. The auditorium was packed that Friday night, with students filling the creaky wooden chairs of the small-town high school. It was talent show season, and the air was alive with nervous excitement, whispers, and the occasional cheer. But when the MC announced, "Next up, John Neely Kennedy," a ripple of chuckles moved through the crowd. John was known around town for his quick wit and sharp tongue, not for anything that resembled musical talent. He was the type of guy who had his nose in books, who could debate anyone on history or politics, who walked with a calm humility that some mistook for awkwardness. To the students who had signed him up for the show as a prank, the idea of John standing on stage with a microphone was nothing short of comedy gold. Backstage, John stood still, clutching the mic. He had overheard the snickers. He knew the smirks were aimed at him. But something inside him, something deep and unshakable, kept him from backing out. He wasn't a showman, but he did have a voice, one his grandmother used to say carried a story in every note. She had been the one who first put a hymnal in his hand, the one who told him, music ain't about being perfect. It's about making people feel. He walked on stage to the sound of whispers and muffled laughter. The spotlight burned his eyes, but he focused on the first row, where a few teachers leaned forward, curious. The MC had expected him to crack a joke, maybe hum off-key for comic relief. Instead, John closed his eyes, took a breath, and began to sing. The first note cut through the auditorium like a knife through silence. It wasn't loud or flashy, it was rich, deep, and unexpectedly soulful. The laughter stopped almost immediately. His voice carried weight, the kind that stirs something you didn't know was sitting heavy in your chest. He chose a simple, heartfelt song. It was an old folk ballad, one that told of hardship, loss, and resilience. His tone trembled at first, but as he pressed forward, his confidence grew. Each note seemed to weave itself into the fabric of the audience, pulling them closer, softening even the most cynical expressions. Students who had folded their arms to enjoy the joke were now leaning forward, stunned. A teacher in the corner discreetly wiped a tear. By the time he reached the chorus, the auditorium was utterly silent. You could hear the hum of the old stage lights, the faint shuffle of someone's shoe against the wooden floor. And then came the final verse. John's voice cracked slightly with emotion, but he didn't hold back. He let the rawness show. He wasn't singing to impress anyone, he was singing because it meant something to him. When the last note faded, the silence hung for a beat. Then the applause erupted, not polite clapping, not obligatory cheers, but a thunderous, heartfelt ovation that shook the walls. Students were on their feet, cheering the very boy they had intended to humiliate.